Hello, this is Edward, and I'm about to share with you a model that we've made for what we call Tower 7. It's a residential tower in the back section of the Sympatico Castle in the Sympatico theme park. I'm actually recording this at home. We just came back from church. Everyone's happy and laughing, and so sorry if there's any noises, any doors slamming, dogs barking, cars driving around. I'm not in a studio, so please, if you start hearing noises, just ignore it, please. Okay, so let me get to this model. Um, this is a basic mock-up of the back of Sympatico Castle. It's very rough, just so I can work with placements. The castle is 150 meters on each triangular side. This blue tower is the drop ride. The morning palace is on top of the castle. The evening palace is at the back. I didn't put the other buildings at the back on the other side just for the sake of simplicity. I'm mostly just right now working on this tower in the middle. We call it Tower 7 because it's the seventh tower in the lineup. There's 11 buildings in the back. Some are kind of small and small purpose. I mean, they're not very big buildings, but some of them are bigger. This is the biggest one, I think, besides the palace. So let me just focus on how it looks without any other buildings around it. It's on these terraces, so the bottom levels are inside the terrace, unseen by tourists, and they have to be integrated into the castle's operations in some way that we have privacy for the residents, but also we have access to park services or things like that. And the tower is 7 floors of occupants. Um, like I said, there's people everywhere, so it's a bit noisy. Um, the eighth floor is a pool deck, and I've added a basement floor bodega. So um, we're looking at maybe having 100 people a day in the building that need to eat, and maybe not that many that will sleep there, but there is room actually to fit 100 people to sleep. And that's why we have a bodega in the basement, which is a place for all the food and all the storage. So let me get to just a quick look around. The back area, there has to be space that tourists can get behind it and go to this blue building here as a deli. Okay. So if you look at the elevation plan for this building, the castle in the front is 4 levels up, and I think 4 levels underground. And the back area of this terraces, we have a color code so we can easily identify which one is which. The peach is the ground level, and below the ground level we have the underground basement utilidors, which is a theme park term for the utility corridors. It's the hidden passageways for the backing operations for staff, maintenance, garbage, supplies, um, and we will use one of these as our private parking for our personal vehicles for this residence. So I'm not sure on the green or on the pink level. We wanted it on the pink first, so we wouldn't interfere with the park operations, which would be primarily on the green. But I think that it's not a very big parking area, so if we put it onto the green area, it shouldn't obstruct. I mean, it's a massive area. I think it's more than like 1.5 hectares of indoor space on the bottom levels. So I think that there's enough space to put a parking lot that won't be in the way. We also say this is tower power because the drop ride, if I can go back to the previous scene here, um, this corner building here is a drop ride, and it's a drop ride, but it's all indoors, and so it's got some kind of special features. Now this building is this ride has a queue for the guests, and the queue may be on one of these levels. So we've been moving things around, and now Tower 7 is far away from Tower of Power, so maybe that there's not going to be any overlapping of space, but it just needs to be just kept in mind that there will be some usage of the space under it at some point. We've also mentioned that there's underground bodega. there's going to be other things that we will want access to. Convenience store, coffee shop, bakery and deli. These things are nearby. We want to be able to get out of the building and get into these services without too much trouble, but still have security. The other issue here is this line is about the elevation of the top of the building. We have a small tower, which is the elevator machine room roof, and maybe a light feature on top. But the main building's the appearance of this main height is this other level here. And we want this level to be lower than the main palace. And so they're almost the same height. So what we did, we felt 9 floors was enough. So we just made these floors 6+ meters tall. It's still being worked on. We normally these floors are 4 meters. These are 4-meter floors. These white ones here are a bit smaller. They're 3.7 meters. But most of the floors here are 4 meters. It gives us a very good thick area for like the utilities and the under the floor. So there's the ceiling, and then there's a space for utilities, and there's the floor slab. So we've made the Morning Palace taller by just making it, giving it a stretch. That has to be, we want this to be visually taller than everything else, even though it's in the front. It will look taller than things in the back because of just perspective, but we still want Tower 7 to be smaller than this. So we also got some buildings in the front and other things not on this elevation chart. But this is basically what the elevation would look like we expect. Okay, so let me go to the next model. The car park in the basement, it needs to begin at a lower level and then go up through park operation space and actually space near tourism operations front end. So it needs to be enclosed in some way. What we also have here is about 5 levels of elevators, and this is all still very early planning. The bottom levels we made to be 6 meters tall in this version because some of the basement areas we may need to have more height for different equipment. But the normal levels that are above ground, which is what you see is the green, the yellow, the blue, and this other layer here, these are all above ground. These are 4-meter levels. And so we may not have the car park this low. It could be one level up, but it will still probably, I think, still have this orientation as it connects to the tower. So let me go through this a little bit. Okay, so the lobby, the entrance to the house, we have a main entrance, and the front door is visible from the outside deck, but this inside lobby is hidden from public view. And what we want to do is we want to have basically one entrance area. There's other doorways, there's other staircases to get in and out of the building, but this is the main entrance way. So when we park our cars or come home from school, we normally will come in this front entrance way, a foyer. So the car park elevator and staircase would end up in this small little lobby, and that's what we are seeing here on this top level. So let me go through, by removing the building out of the way, we can just see this model cutaway for what it is. So this is what we just saw that's attached to the lobby. Now we go down, in this case 5 levels, and what we see is that the entrance lobby, and it has some kind of security presence, however that may play out. So we are planning to have the car park, probably there's an entrance way here. It's pretty wide, 9 meters to be both an entrance and exit, but it may be a drive-through, depends upon how we do the rest of the planning. And we've made the car park space in this mock-up quite large, and we imagine having multi-cab cargo small lorries. We have a lot of people and a lot of goods being moved back and forth, and so it's possible that we actually need to have some larger personal vehicles. These blue ones are all models of the Ford Ranger, which is a pretty big 4x4 pickup truck. So these parking spaces are pretty big, and they're big enough for these large vehicles, so we could fit 30 or 40 motorcycles. We could fit a lot of small vehicles as well. So if these fit, we'll just start with this plan. If these fit, we've got plenty of room for other vehicles. But we don't know what else is on that level, and it could be expanded if we need it to be expanded. So we would walk from the cars into this level here. We put a security desk, and in our model here, this lady is the security officer, even though she's not dressed in a uniform. But we would enter through some type of security apparatus. Now, this is not really a turnstile, but just so you know, yeah, we've got some kind of security check. And even inside this lobby, we also can have keypad. It could be biometric fingerprints. It could be just a RFID chip card, or some other keypad with a number. But there can be some type of security measure up the staircase and also over here up the elevator. We don't want to have nosy park employees or visitors that are not welcome to get access to this space. So up 5 stories here, and now we're at the entrance lobby. Let's go back to the main building so you can see how this integrates again. So we end up here now. Like I said, this yellow section is actually a wall. It may have some windows here to let light into this lobby, but maybe those windows are obscured and you can't actually see through it. And the door may have some windows around it, but it's basically a wall. And over here on this side, it's probably going to be a solid wall because we have nothing directly next to it inside. Now I've just added this downstairs bodega. This is a 1 level down bodega, and I just realized that we didn't have enough storage for our food needs for 100 people a day, and also for other things that we may need storage for. So we made the building design pretty tight with usable space. There's a lot of bedrooms and rooms, but not a lot of dedicated storage space. And so we've added this small floor area here. And this is, it's not very big. It's half the building's footprint. So each of these large rooms is about 16 square meters. And then these small ones are about 8 each, a little less than that for this one. But it's enough for what I think we're going to be using, 20 kilograms of rice a day, plus we could be using, my estimate was 20 cases of drinks a day. I forget what my estimate was. So drink storage, rice storage, maybe it's flour, maybe it's vegetables. It's not been fully developed, so maybe there's a cold storage. Maybe one of these is a large refrigerator, which is definitely doable. And if we needed it, we can expand it to the rest of that floor. But in this version, I didn't put the whole floor. We also don't really have like a dirty play area for fixing a bicycle or like a wood shop. We haven't done that in this building because we have a theme park. We've got machine rooms in the theme park, but there could be other space there for more basement area. So this is the plan for the car park, security entrance up to the building. So we have the bodega level in the bottom here, and we can access that through this internal staircase, also through the staircase from the near the majordomo's room. So we have ways to get in and out of it, but it's kind of a first draft actually. We want to make sure we have access to it, but without letting all the park employees or tourists just come in there. Okay, so let me go to the next step. So the bottom floor, we call it the entrance level, and this level is a little bit slow in responding. Okay, so what we see here is that we were just down there in the lobby to the car park lift, and this extension line shows you the wall. So in the front, this sticks out of the wall, which means it has window space, but everything behind this line is inside the building. So this floor is there we go. This shows you the terraces that the building. These things are all inside the building. So these terraces, yeah, we can put windows here. We can put windows in some places, but most of it is inside. Okay, so um, this floor is mostly an entranceway on the left-hand side. So we have a small sitting area, not very big. We don't use it very much. And we have a nice visual statement. Standing here, you would see um, the pillars that are in front of the library, the curved staircase, not round, this curved staircase. Nice decor. And then there's a wall here, and you wouldn't really be able to see light through this wall. Then maybe there's light in the staircase of the stairs, but we would have to rely upon upstairs lighting to shine down, or artificial lighting. Now, in the right-hand corner here, this is the elevator shaft, which I'm just putting an X on it. I don't, we're, we're probably going to use, well, I'm not sure probably or not. I've modeled this after the Schindler AP 3300, which is a nice elevator that has a small machine room, and I think it's a good machine. So that's what I'm basing my model on. It's having that elevator there. I haven't checked all the other elevators for their sizes, but that's what I like so far. Okay, so on this floor, the major function besides the entranceway is the major domo's living quarters. Now she is basically not the housekeeper. She runs the house. She runs the all the staff, and so her job is not like a housekeeper. It's more like a facilities manager. So she has to make sure the nannies, the cooks, the cleaners, the housekeepers, the dishwashers, the gardeners, the stock room is being supplied, the security. She has to run the building, and so she's got a pretty important job. Now her personal space is a good size, I think. It is around 31 square meters, and that's just living space. She has a bathroom in that space too, which is it's a good sized bathroom. And what I've also done for her is that I've put her room. I've given her a small, like a little alleyway. What do you call it? A hallway that leads to these two other rooms. One is the main laundry room, and the other is a kind of secure bodega, or storage for things that would easily be stolen or more valuable, or we just don't want people to see. And so in this version, there's no door to this room besides what comes out of her space. The laundry room has a door, but you have to go into her personal space to get to this bodega. So it's more secure than other things. And the storage bodega here is about 7.7 square meters. The laundry room is about 11. And so it's a good size area for what we need. This level has a kitchenette. It's a full-size kitchen. It's not a kitchenette really. It's a full kitchen. But it only really serves the major domo, or it serves, like, we have a couple of guests who come in and they want a cup of coffee. And so it's for the major domo to have her own kitchen. It's not in her building, in her room, and but it only really serves her. So over here we have a bodega, storage room, closet. Uh, Upstairs there would be a staircase. This is the pillar of the staircase, but we removed it in this level because we have the spiral staircase, the curved staircase rather, not spiral staircase. So the curved staircase is a main design visual feature right in the middle. I liked having the staircases in Boal. This is not that, because that one was, inside of a very large area. But we want to have a nice big grand, I think it's 2 meter wide staircase, so it's nice and big. So come in the entranceway. You may have a guest or two here, and then that's the staircase. So that's basically how it looks. The thing behind the front sitting area is the library. And the library is a mezzanine floor structure. It's This building is normally 4 meters per floor, but this structure here has 3 levels in 8 meters. So they're still big enough for normal headroom, but they're not as big as the normal floors we have. So basically what we're losing the overhead ceiling space for utilities. So there has to be a different option for lights and The HVAC system, the heating, ventilation, air conditioning system, there has to be a different solution for that. It's a small area, so it shouldn't be a problem. So either smaller pipes for air or uh, just some of the solution. I can think of a couple. I don't want to talk about it, but from sitting here in the front area, you would see through the glass walls. So it's not so obvious if this glass is colored, but after you sit down or look around a little bit, you would say, oh, there's a wall there, and oh, it's a library. And so the library is visible from this ground level, but then the actual floor slab cuts right in the middle of the middle floor. And so you would see 1.5 floors from this level and 1.5 floors from the upstairs. So I have to show you the mezzanine library from a different model because you can't really see it from here. But it does have its own staircase in the back with CRs at every level, and this is probably just an open walkway to get through to get inside. Now you're seeing through the model here, but actually that's a solid wall into the building. Okay, so it's yeah, this is, you can see how the staircases stack up. Okay, so that's the first floor. It looks a little bit busy, but you wouldn't see that because there's a floor slab at the next level that goes right through it. So let me go to that model. Okay, so this is the mezzanine library by itself. Now what we've done here is that we've given it 2 levels in the bottom of library space, and on top is a playroom recreation room. Okay, so if I turn around the back, you see the staircases here, which is not very visible from before. And with the walls removed, you can see into it better here. I put a bathroom underneath the first green staircase. This green is not the color of the staircase. This is just a color code for our design. But we have visitors who may be sitting here on these couches, and there's a wall. And then for their CR use, a visitor is only going to stay for a few minutes. They would be able to walk just behind that glass wall into the section under the stairs and use the CR. So this is CR is more like a common use CR for visitors. The other CRs that we have that are under the stairs are for kids in the library, and the top floor actually is a children's toilet, children's CR. So let me look at that space now. The children's space, I'm making this colorful. These aren't the real colors, but this could be the real colors. Bright, basic colors. And I put children's-sized furniture, children's books, and it's a play area. So it's either industrial piled carpet or something which is kind of soft and clean. So the CR can have a short-sized toilet with a short sink, so kids can easily wash their hands in those things. So if I remove that layer now, this is the middle layer, which is just books and a sitting area and 2 small desks. There's space here for about 1,500 books on this level. One question that I have when I see this is, okay, if I put 3 sofa chairs that are kind of in that configuration, it invites people to go there with their friends and chat and giggle and laugh. It's not what we want to have in a library. There should be quiet reading space. So maybe this furniture is not in the right position, but I'm not too worried about it because if they're making that much noise, we'll say, hey, quiet down. I put 2 desks here. They each have 2 chairs because there needs to be homework space. And so the building's pretty big, but we still want to have kind of a quiet area here for work. And the decor is not done. This is just shelves. It would be nice to make it look like a proper English den library, upholstered chairs, like maybe dark red, upholstery, and dark bookshelves, and make it look nice. Also, these bookshelves are not that tall. We can make them up to the ceiling, and then supply stools, but um, it's just to tell you this is going to be library space. The ground floor is very similar to the middle floor. I just made bigger desks. So these desks are basically, I mean, it's a rough design, but there's some people who just need more stuff when they're studying, or collaboration space or whatever. So I made an extra L shape an extra extension here for the desk, but that's maybe not a very good plan. It's just to say that we can make different furniture on different levels. Okay, so in the back also you can see where the CR goes, and there's a bit of an open area here with no door, so you can get in and get out. Okay, second level, top level. Now I put these pillars here, which is a visual element. They should look like stone, and it just helps to make it look more, I don't know, scholarly, or I think it looks better to have some nice big pillars. It could be just decoration that may not be structural at all, but let the architect design what they want. Okay, so we call this the mezzanine library, levels 1, 2, and 3. Top level is a recreation room. Top level is a playroom. So it's noisy, but we've got glass doors, glass walls around it. These green windows here may actually be outdoor windows. Those are actually on a wall that is outdoors, and so are these two spaces here. These actually could be outdoor windows. So you may have direct sunlight in here, but below that you don't have direct windows unless you put some kind of skylight on this floor. But everything behind that is all indoors. Okay? So mezzanine library. Now let me show you how that attaches to the first floor and the second floor. This is where it kind of comes together, and you kind of see. Okay, this is just the second floor first. So second floor, a bit of sleep. Okay, now this hole here in the middle, that's the atrium where the staircase will connect, and this back part here is where the library will connect. But let me first tour this space. What we have here is 4 guest rooms. Now, because the terrace is a step back on this level, this open area gives us light in all of these walls, whereas downstairs that would be inside. Upstairs, this is all outdoors. So we've put patios on both sides. Each patio is around 40 square meters. But the main feature on this floor is the guest rooms. Now, these guest rooms are pretty good sized. The first one here is 23 square meters, and it has a good CR, which is 1.3 by 2 meters. So it's a pretty decent sized CR, big enough for a full shower, toilet, and sink. And it's like a big hotel room. Now I don't know what furniture you want to have in there. I just put nice table and a bed. So who is in this room? Maybe we've got a brother or a cousin who is visiting, and they've got they're a married couple with 2 kids. They would fit there. We can just add an extra bed or whatever. Um, it's a pretty big space. It may be for a long-term visitor, maybe for a visiting family. The other rooms are identical. All 3 is the same size. They each have their own CR, same size CR. And I just put a double bed. I think it's a twin size bed in this model, but you can put a bigger size bed that it fits fine. And these are each 11 square meters. And 11 square meters here in the house I'm in right now is bigger than where 4 people sleep. And actually, we've had 5 and 6 in there. So in this model, we're not trying to cramp people into that space, but it is the Philippines, and people like to have a bit of a slumber party. And so in our living arrangements right now, that's 6 people. But in this model, I'm just saying it's 2, maybe it's 1 or 2. And what's also nice in this one is that we put glass sliding doors on the outside wall to go to the balcony. So there's a close up of room. I'm calling it room A, B, C, and D. These sliding glass doors, they can be made secure. They're not as secure as other types of doors, but it is inside of a wall and inside of the theme park, so it's not really, I think, a high security risk. But they have entrance to a patio, which is fun. So it's a walled garden. I put stones and bricks down there, but that could be, yeah. I mean, it's a roof deck of the downstairs place, so it is going to be a paved, tiled area, but there'll be trees and plants there. Now, also, I put maybe this is not going to last, but I put 2 giant CRs. These CRs they're bigger than they need to be. They're 5 square meters, and so it's big enough for maybe for a guest, um, just to have a little bit of extra space, or one could be a laundry room, one could be a storage room, but they are large CRs. So that can be redesigned to have a laundry room for the guests, the visitors, and 2 CRs in this space here. So these CRs are not for these visitors. These CRs would be for party guests and people in the lounge. Now, this is a basic, just I threw some furniture in an open area. I threw some planters with some like a glass divider. Glass can be covered with stickers so that you can't see through it. It could be non-smooth glass, so you can't see through it, like wavy glass or like that kind of thing. It could be painted. It could be any kind of design, so you have some privacy to sit there without people hearing what you're saying. But I built these to be on wheels, and they can be wheeled around and moved in case we have a party and want to have one large space. Or normally we have here 4 small personal spaces for private conversations. Um, it's a flexible idea that doesn't need to be. That all can be removed. That before that was a bedroom. Now it's just a lounge. But nice to have some privacy in a lounge. So the CRs this level are for these people, and this also extends to a patio on this side, also 40 square meters, same as the other patio, and that's big enough for a whole dining table, and this will have plants and other things, maybe a fountain or who knows what you want there. But it's an outdoor space that has some type of privacy that tourists can't really easily see into it. And the staircase goes to the next level, which I'll show you in a minute. So that is the recreation level. So large room, 23 square meters, then 11, 11, 11. 5 square meter CRs, so that's not going to last, I think, because it's just too big for what we want to use it for. Okay, now the next thing I'll do is I'll show you how these rooms fit together. Okay, so the mezzanine library fits in that back section. The stairs attached through that atrium, and the staircases here all attach. The elevator shaft is, I didn't design it. I mean, I have it in other models. It's just there in that space. So what you notice here, the stairs that go up to the recreation playroom have a landing at this level. And so it's very easy for people here just to walk up a few steps and now you're in the playroom. So, mom and dad can sit here and have a cup of coffee while the kids play and they can watch them. And the stairs here that go down to the other library, they're small stairs, they're narrow, so it's kind of out of the way. But you also have the main stairs. So we get a lot of stairs in this level, but that's fine because it makes it fun to go up and down. Also, what you notice here is that when you sit in these lounge chairs, you can see downstairs into the lower level. And so you can see up to the kids or down to maybe the teens or someone else who's reading down there. So this is a way that we can connect levels by making them kind of a little bit integrated. There's not too much noise because there's glass partitions, but it's still, there's a way the spaces are all connected. The same thing here, that behind this sofa, you see the windows that go downstairs. And so this allows us just to have these spaces be integrated. We're going to get light in through these glass panels, and so that should be a nice bright space. Okay, so we see how the staircase uh, fits into this atrium. Now the atrium is more like an oval. I didn't make it round. I mean, it's round, it's oval. The staircase is a curve. And so what this gives us is just an option for something a little bit different. And you can ignore this line here. That's just an option they had for the design. that probably will not be there. So this is all going to be just open space here, open space here, and that is where the staircase opens up to. There's plenty of space on all sides of it to walk around, 1.5 to 2 meters on all sides. And there's the staircase that goes down and up. Okay, so that's how we are integrating the first floor, we call the entrance level. Second floor, we call it the recreation level. And the mezzanine library and play area with the patios. So that's a pretty integrated. I think it's connected pretty well. I think it looks pretty good. So the next thing that we're going to look at is the third floor. Now this begins it's pretty mild. Okay, here we are. Dining area, kitchen and dining area. Okay, so what you see here are tables. Big ones here are for 10 people. So that's 50 and 10 people, 50 and then 10 seater tables. And then the other tables are 4 and 6. So this shows you one way we could lay this out for 60 seats that's not cramped. The kitchen, I'm using a ratio of square meters of kitchen space per diner for an industrial food service kitchen. And so according to this, looking at how many people we have seats for, the kitchen is big enough to feed them, to cook for them. And in this model, I just threw a lot of stoves and things like that together. I put 3 large refrigerators. There's no walls in this model, but the walls are there with the white ends. I put a large dishwashing area, okay, and I put a door in the this was double door. Well, that could still be a double door area here, and one door out into the eating area. This peach area is the bedroom apartment for the cook. So the cook will work, on this level and can go in this room, and that's their private space. Now maybe it's too close to their work, but it's just convenient in case someone needs to have a hot dog now. So the cook may not be the only cook here. We may have 3. We may have other people who are just not busy right now and helping out to do food prep. You also can have a lot of the kids do chores. Nice for the kids to learn how to run a kitchen, how to work in a kitchen. We don't want the kids to be just pampered and fatted. So the cook has help. She has to run the kitchen. But maybe she's married and has her husband and 3 kids, and this room is actually big enough. This room is 18 square meters. And so in our house right now, that fits, I don't know, 8 or 9 people. But we're not going to cram people like that into this design. They have their own bathroom, which is quite a good sized bathroom. The kitchen is 38 square meters, 38, and then the dining area on this level is 86. And yeah, okay, that's what we have here. So I think the dining area is good. I'm not sure if that's how you want to lay it out. What should it look like? Obviously not bright yellow. That's just my color coding for the design. Maybe it looks like a normal restaurant. I don't know if that's what you want. Maybe it should be more like a house. It's kind of, I think a restaurant would be more fun to design, which means you just got more decor, more lighting, and just more theme to it. But it needs to be, a food service for the whole family and all the guests and all the visitors and the staff. And so um, this is the heart, this is the core of the dining area. Now, that's not all we have, because dining area is also on the terrace. Why is it? Let me turn this off. Okay, so what we have here is an idea of how the dining area fits into the whole terrace. And why is this not moving? Okay, so this is now the first 3 floors together. Dining area is on this yellow terrace. So again, remember where we started from. Okay, we see that's all indoors. Just remember how that looks. Then we have this patio here from the second level, and the stairs would go up to the green deck. Okay, so this seems to be a bit of a missing corner here. I'm not sure how we're going to design that. This may be indoors or outdoors. We'll have to decide that later on. Maybe that's going to be indoors. Okay, so the patio on this side also, it has stairs that go up. There should be a break there, but these stairs go up to the green deck on that side too. So the dining area fits in this way into this environment. So what I've done, because there's space in the back for this patio area, I've just extended the patio on this level a little bit. It's about 7 to 8 meters from this wall. And I've put sliding glass doors into the dining area so you can have food service right out here. I put 20 chairs here, but there's plenty of room for other things. This is a dirty kitchen, so for barbecue or for everyone's favorite stinky fish. So this is another area to seat diners. It adds 20 people or 20 seats, but it's still on the same level. You don't always use outdoor dining areas because it's rainy, it's too hot, or whatever. But nighttime it's nice, and we may have shade over all these tables as well. I just didn't put it in this model. So there's probably going to be umbrella shades or some kind of shade so that there's not going to be bird poop and dirt on those things. Now around the back here, I put an awning 2 levels so there's light that comes through it. And this would be behind the kitchen. And what that means is that this is where our garbage goes. So the plan right now is that the garbage for the building is brought down to this level and it is brought outside. Now I don't have a little garbage chute, but we can put a small, service door for garbage, and it gets put out here. So park staff at nighttime will come by here, open up a small little hatch in this wall, and take the garbage out, and that provides a way that we can remove the garbage without having a security breach, open door. So if it's a small little trap door, then we put the garbage in here and then take it out from here, and there's no problem. So this is a small area here, not very wide. It's just enough to get us from the front to the back, with a little bit of outdoor space in case we have, there's storage of, sacks of potatoes. Maybe there's going to be, it could be garbage. It could be just stuff that just doesn't fit indoors and we want to get it outside, but we don't want anyone to see it. So I put the awning there. Now I did put a door on this side that goes to the outside. This is by the elevator. Outside door needs security, so I put a little security pad on it, cameras and some kind of security thing. And then I made a little awning, little roof, and then to a door in the fence. This also has to have some kind of security in it, especially this door. But this allows us to walk from the dining area out a very easy to reach door and go to the deli. Deli is this blue building right next door to us, this building right here. So this is where we have park food service for pastries, cakes, breads, rolls, muffins, soups. I'm hoping we have some nice spicy soups and some nice soups. It's also got coffee service, ice cream service, and I think other things I'm not remembering right now. So Charo's calling this one Mrs. Batterford's Bakery and Deli. So it's a 2-story structure. There's a staircase inside, nice green metal wrought iron staircase that goes upstairs. And the space to walk between the terrace wall and this fence is around 7.5 meters. So you got plenty of space here for bushes that kind of obscure this wall, benches. There could be actually services in this wall. This actually could have a restaurant. This could actually have a shop or a staircase. And there's also staircases in the corners here that I didn't put into this model. So there's more details in this model than is visible right now. But this is an outdoor access that we're able to get to this deck to get a sandwich. Okay, so we're seeing how this integrates on the side. Okay. Okay, so we've got kind of deck space around the entire building on these lower levels. And then we can see how this fits together with the other pieces again. Now here, I've added these nice staircases, which are, yeah, it's part of the design. We want to make this little area here, maybe make this area, like a little plaza. Now I've enlarged the size of this building, which is the souvenir building. Then maybe it's going to be smaller or whatever. But we want to make a little area here that gives us a little plaza, and that's going to have maybe some flower shop, obviously some outdoor tables, some type of bistro, some type of al dente service, type of little, you know, maybe just coffee and pastry food service, something like that. This building next to it here is the horse-themed gift shop, candy and gifts. And this one here is the Burgermeister's park info, park services, first aid to maps to concierge. The blue one here is the Evening Palace, and this is a function event space, very fancy with blue marble, and it's quite big. And what we don't have in this model is what is in these walls. These walls all have windows and doors that are some access into the park services, but we have a lot of the display rooms for the crowns and the jewels and the pottery and the glassware in this area. And so this would be like museum open space. Also, the hotel is in this top level. The palace, the main palace here, most of it is a hotel. So you can see how we can get around it. There's space to get around. Okay. Okay, so that's the dining area. So let me actually just keep going because I was gonna stop. Um, I was gonna stop and cut the video in half, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna redo the other floors. Let me open up the fourth floor. Save changes. Yes, I think I made changes to that. Okay, now also I'll mention during this slight pause, what I don't have in this model is things like structure. Many of these walls are just two-dimensional. They're not three-dimensional walls. Now the floors are three-dimensional. The floors are actually 15 centimeters thick, which is bigger than we need. Normally your floor is going to be around 10 centimeters thick, but I wanted thicker floors. And so I made these floors 15 centimeters, which means they're a bit stronger. Also, it means that um, with a 4-meter floor, what it means is that we have a lot of headroom and still a lot of space for the overhead utility in the ceiling. So what we don't have in this model yet is things like downpipes and drains and uh, pillars. I didn't put machine rooms for pumps for water, but we know we will need them. So there still needs to be a lot of kind of technical design, but um, the design is not so cramped that it would be a problem. We've got space, and if we need to, we can always just keep adding more, more small features to it. Let me just open up the other 7 or 8 models, and I'll just do the whole thing at one time. Made quite a number of models to get this far. Also, it's nice that I get the computer going now. Before I had to do everything by pencil, and I learned a lot that way. Designing by pencil is one type of freedom, but the computer is a lot better because I can make things more permanent. I think that's right. Okay, so structure is missing, utilities is missing, and a few things are not in these models yet, but this is mostly correct. Okay, now let's get to the fourth floor. The fourth floor is the first floor that is not attached to a ground floor. and that means there needs to be just thought for fire escapes. But I've made two wide staircases on either side, and I believe that will satisfy any need for fire escapes because it's a lot of space. Okay, so the bedrooms is imagined to be mostly for children. So we're looking at this being mostly a kid's floor. The color code is size. So red room is a 20 square meter space. And so you can see here that it's got a nice CR. And I think you could easily put 6 people. These are big beds, so actually these beds would hold probably 8 people. But what I'm doing here is I'm just putting just 2 on the bottom, 1 on top. You've got brothers and sisters, you've got friends, you maybe want to have 3 in the bottom, 2 on top. It would fit actually in this model. These are big rooms, but that's not what I'm planning for. And so this red is a 20 square meter floor, 20 square meter room. And then the turquoise is 25 square meters. And so yeah, I added 2 more, 1 more double bed. And so in this case here, you have room for, let's say, 8 people. Nice big CR. And I'm just throwing doors here. I'm throwing walls up there. It's not an exact model, but it's a pretty good start. And it's pretty generous in space, I think. Now on this floor, these 2 corners are identical. They're both 25 square meters. They both have got room for this many beds. And this one, I said, okay, well, if you want to think about it, you could put bunk beds for all 3 beds, add more people to it, and I moved the bathroom to the corner just to say that there's other options for the design. So in this option, you would have actually 9 people with proper bed space. And with the Filipino style, with the, just bring all your friends over, I hate to count, you'd probably be able to have 15 people in this room. Party on. Um, the color code here in the peach or the pink is the helper nanny's room. Now she's a nanny. She's not okay. She has to housekeep. She has to, not really a cook, but maybe if she needs to help out the chef once in a while, that's fine. But this is mostly supposed to be the floor mother. So yeah, maybe she's married. Maybe she's got 2 kids. This room is pretty big. It's what is it? 12? If it's 12 square meters. I knew it was someplace. Yeah, it's 16. Okay, so this room is a 16 square meter room, which is definitely big enough for a family of 4. Nice big CR. And I just threw in, this is an enormous bed for the Philippines, but it's there. Now, I've also put this, I call it a laundry kiosk. Now, we can add more machines. And what are these machines? This is a washer and a dryer, or just a washer and then separately a dryer. Either case, there needs to be a drying machine so we don't have a lot of clothes being hung out. Now, also, people here don't really have a lot of washers and dryers. They do have laundromat services, so it's not an unknown thing, but a lot of families don't do that. So our kids need to have, training and, get used to using a washing machine. I don't want to have kids' clothing traveling through the whole building being washed by other people. So the idea is the nanny on this floor has to manage the children's laundry, have the kids help out. Monday is the pink room, is the red room, and Tuesday is the turquoise room, or whatever you want to do. So we don't want to export clothing all over the planet trying to get it cleaned. So I want to have most of the laundry on this floor stay on this floor. That helps also because what happens is that your favorite shirt ends up on someone else's bedroom, and clothes just they travel. So this is a laundry kiosk. It's not the laundry room on the main floor. That's mostly for other things. This is hopefully going to take care of most of the kids' laundry needs for uniforms and for things like that. So this floor is also nice because it has a home theater. So I'm using pretty big sized chairs, which for an American concept, you'd have 1 person in each of these back chairs, and maybe 2 or 3 in the couches. But for our kids, you probably would get 2 in these small chairs and maybe 4 on the couches. And then what happens? Everyone wants to pile up. We're watching a movie together. They want to sit on the stairs. They want to sit on the floor in the front that's fine. This room right now with the you know, not too cramped seating, I think that you would get maybe 20 people in the chairs. But if we were to, make it a bit more cozy, yeah, I can imagine 30 people, 40 people in that space have watched the movie together. Now, I put a flat screen TV, but it could be on the wall, it could be a projector, so this is just to show that there's going to be space there for stuff. Now, also what I've done here, let me go back there here. I've made a really big door space. This actually is like for 3 doors, and then one more door here. I want to have a lot of exit space, so there's no problem of some kid throwing a stink bomb in the room and everyone's going to run outside or some kind of problem. So you would be able to just scatter and get out. Also, okay, a big door means it's usually open, and then the explosions and dinosaurs noise is filling the whole house, down the staircase and everything. So maybe this door has to be a thick curtain. Therefore, it's always easy to get in and out, but it's soundproof. Or it's sound absorbing. So, in any case, that this is an allocated space for TV, movies. Okay, so this is the fourth floor, bedrooms floor. Okay, and don't mind the red staircases, it's the color code for this floor height. Okay, let me go to floor 5. The floor 5 is very similar. It's also bedrooms floor. It's also got the red rooms that are 20 square meters with about 6 people. It's also got the turquoise rooms, which are 25. So this is very similar to the fourth floor. All rooms here have their own bathroom. I threw in some just furniture, just so just to suggest books, shelves and drawers. Bed should have under bed drawer space and other things. It doesn't collect too much dust. What's different here is that I put the helper's room in the corner, and if you can see one layout possibility here, I didn't customize the CR to fit around this corner, but um, there's enough space here for a bed in this corner, which could be windows on both sides. It could be nice, but maybe you want to put it sideways. I don't care where you put it, but it fits like that. And if this is a family of maybe this nanny has got a husband and 2 kids, it's a pretty big space. I put enough space for a whole 4-seat table, and yeah, it's a pretty good space. Now she's a working. This is her job. She must take care of the kids. Don't hide in your room. Maybe her husband is there and her kids are there and they want some privacy. Or we may have babies and who need a nanny's constant care. So maybe this is space for a baby. What do you call it? A crib. Or they use hammocks here. But this could actually be big enough space for baby care for someone who needs more attention or whatever it is. The turquoise room is the next room, and it's in the middle, not in the corner. Now it looks bigger. It may actually be bigger in a way because it's more usable space. It's square, but actually it's the same square meters as the corner with the funny triangles. So this here has got beds for 8. The difference here on this floor really is that it's not a room on the end for TV, but it's a family room. Now, in my language, in my names, my nomenclature here, a family room is not a TV room. Now, normally, you don't have both. We have both here. So what this is for, let's say, kids doing homework, or let's say we have a party and we need a place for the kids to go in to play games or puzzles or a chess tournament, or we've got a couple of kids and they're having a pizza party for their friend and they only want 3 friends there or 5 friends there. So this is a multifunction room for family things that's not just TV. And there may be computers there, there may be other things there, but the idea of it is that it's not just for TV, it's more like a family living room. Now I made a large door space, 3 doors wide, that could be open permanently, noisy, okay. It could have a curtain so it cuts the noise. It could have sliding doors. It could be whatever you want. And you also may want to have in this wall that faces the hallway, that could be a window so we can always look at it and make sure nothing funny is happening in that room. So it's nice to have, yeah, they had their own personal space in their floor and their bedroom, but we want to, not have places where kids can, get up to too much mischief. So a common bedroom is pretty busy. People come in and out of it. We don't want to make a problem, especially if our kids are off the street and they're just a bit naughty. So I put a laundry kiosk. I actually made this room a bit too big, and I left it big because maybe there has to be, I don't know, garbage. Maybe this is all the kids throw their, maybe this is the transit place for the clean, the dirty, the dried laundry. I don't know, but we can add space there, and there's still plenty of space on this floor and on these rooms. So whatever is needed to make this a functional, usable laundry area. Okay, that's the fifth floor. Now, yeah, these rooms are pretty big, and I'm saying put 6 kids, but maybe it's not 6. Maybe this actually is a married couple. Maybe this is, one of the kids and they're married, and we just take all the beds out, and this becomes Ivan's room with his wife, or Christine with her husband, or we don't know what's going to be in that room actually. But we've made it with this facility so that we can use it for kids. Now, in this layout, we can fit 25 to 30 kids on these floors, each floor. And then also you've got the maid's room with her family. You're thinking this is probably going to be 30 to 35 people on this level. That's one reason why I had to put a bodega, because if we've got 60, maybe 70 on these 2 floors every day, right, eating and drinking and being merry, and then we've got 4 guest rooms downstairs, the cook's room. We also have the major domo and her family. Yeah, we easily would have 100 people, not counting day visitors, not counting friends of friends of friends. So the building has to accommodate food service and the storage of the food for at least 100 people a day, which is fine. Okay, so the next floor up is the 6th floor, and I'm calling this the grand bedroom. Pardon the mauve. This basically is my bedroom with Anne, and we've got some other common services here, but primarily this is. Let me look at my notes here. Okay, large bedroom, 38. The CR is also very large at almost 7. So that means the CR's got the storage of the towels and clothing storage. I've also thrown a nice big closet in here, which is 6. And that's got probably shoes and dresses and everything else in there. I put in this middle, like a. Sorry, I'm sitting down, I'm losing my air, I'm talking too much. And it is 10:30. Okay, so I put in this sitting room in the middle, and I put a door to the bedroom, but maybe this is an archway. This is a sitting room that is just a part of, like a parlor to the bedroom. I threw in some sofas and some shelves, but I didn't put a TV in here. So this wall is windows. There could be a TV in there, but that's not what I made this room for. What I did put here is the next area is the balcony. Now, when we first made this building, we put balconies on 3 or 4 levels, but we removed them. And so now, in this level, we kept 1 balcony. So I put sliding glass doors to this area that's got no walls, and I made room for planters. They are not too big or deep, but it's big enough to put a lot of flowers, and that gives Anne something to do with her free time. She likes a lot of plants, likes to have some nice things that are fragrant and pretty around her. So this is a balcony that's got plenty of seats, and it is, how big is that balcony? 13 square meters. So the middle area, went too far. The middle area here is around 20 square meters, about 19, and it could serve as a guest room, actually, especially if we have family visiting. And here we have it's 13 square meters, so it's a pretty good sized space. Now, this corner here used to be a lounge, also a seating area. I put 4 large couches. But Anne thought, if I have a kitchen kiosk here, this is a kitchenette, it's only a small galley kitchen. isn't it better to put an area here for like dining table? It's more like a private dining area. And actually, I had planned to put a private dining room someplace, but I just didn't do it. And so this is a good thing for maybe it's only for a snack. I mean, I like to have just breakfast of just coffee and bagels sometimes. But you've got, fry pan, you've got enough put a refrigerator here. So yeah, you can keep it stocked and just make a simple breakfast with eggs and, and some bagels. Sometimes in the morning, yeah, we need to be quiet for a little while, think and pray, especially if we're ministering. We want to be able to just get our heart quiet and hear what God is saying for us. And we are going to need a lot of things in our life to keep us on track, because at this stage in our ministry it's very, very busy. So having a little private dining area, not just for us, maybe it's for who knows who just wants to be alone for breakfast. There's a CR next to it. The CR is 4 square meters, so it's a good size. It also connects to the wow, sorry, I'm so tired. It connects to a small seating area next to what is one of my offices. Now, I have an office in the hotel. I probably have offices all over the country, but this is a place where I can just put some books down, put some models up. I've got a computer. I can write a book here, work on some things. I like to have space. I've always got drawings and maps and different things I'm working on and piles of paperwork around me. So this may actually be a pretty busy workspace for me. It should be a little bit quiet and private because it's pretty messy. Um, so there's a sitting room next to it, and for me, I sometimes will work all day if you let me, 24 hours if you let me. So I'll work and then I'll sleep and then I'll work and I'll sleep. Especially if I have a deadline or if I have something important going on, I don't want to do anything else but work. And so it's good for me to have a place where I can just take a nap for 10 minutes, not bother anybody. But I throw a TV on the wall because maybe you're gonna watch a video. Maybe it is actually just for watching TV sometimes. So that's not thought out. I just thought, well, okay, I'll throw a TV in there. So this to me is office space here, extension of the office. It's got a CR, private dining room, balcony. Could be a guest room, sitting room, part of the bedroom, and then the bedroom is big for just clothing and storage. So I'm calling this the grand bedroom. Okay, and this is also one of the short floors, 3.7 meters tall, and it's small, just in the model. Okay, next floor up, and we're almost at the roof. Next floor up is the worship hall. This is a small function room that's made for worship events. Now, I'm assuming we have worship venues all over the town, all over the park, all over everywhere, but we still want to have our own worship space, maybe on the weekends, maybe for a youth group, maybe just for private purposes. We need some prophecy, we need some prayer, or whatever. And so this is the 7th floor. It's the worship hall. It's a 5-meter floor height, and that's partly because upstairs is a pool. So this area is a pretty good size. Now, why this is a triangle roof here is that these corners are towers that on the other two triangles house the staircases, and the staircases go right to the roof. But I wanted a different height elevation in these two different tower sections, and so on these two sides I made an end here before the top floor. And so I'm using the yellowish color, which may be a metal color the same as the roof canopy tower covers. But I'm also using copper green for some of the roof shades. And so it has to be color coded. It's a metal roof or a slate roof. It could be just slate, which would not be colorful. But in this level, it makes a kind of cute little corner area here for, maybe some sofas will go here. This white box is the sound desk, and that way we can control the sound. It's the sound booth. Okay. So that worship area is about 110 square meters. So you can fit technically 100 people, but maybe more like 60 on a worship event. Okay, now this floor also has a kitchen. Now, the kitchen is a normal sized kitchen because if we have a worship event, it's an all-night prayer, maybe it's fasting, fine, but maybe we need to have, coffee and drinks and refreshments and bread and whatnot. So we want to have a way that we can just cook and clean and keep the stuff on this level. If it's a big party, yeah, okay, we'll use the downstairs kitchen on the third floor and use the elevator to bring the food up here in carts. But normally we've got music practice here. It goes on for 3 hours, and then we'll share a meal together. We need to talk to the worship team, so we're just gonna stay here together. Um, I didn't put tables on this floor, but we can easily have tables that fold up to go against the wall. And you may also have sofas along the walls on the perimeter, but I just didn't put that in this model. So this kitchen has got it's a normal size kitchen. There's 3 CRs here. There's 2 here in the kitchen and 1 across this little hallway. And I put a mop room because I find it's useful to have a place just to get a mop bucket clean, clean the mop up and just clean the whole floor space. On this side of the room, I put a pretty big guest room, and this guest room is um, how big is the guest room? Hmm, I'm not sure. Not 7. Okay, this is a guest room. It looks pretty big. Maybe it's around 23, 25. The idea of this room is that normally it is like a lounge place to sit down. Let's say we have worship. Let's say we have prophecy time and we only have a few people. We'll go in here. We'll be quiet. We'll discuss prophecy. Maybe you've got a prophetic word, which is kind of embarrassing. You go in here. But I equipped the room with 2 sofa, couches, beds. What do you call it? Bed couch. Um, so these will fold out and be used as beds if need be. But normally they are sofas. So if we have a minister who's coming, or someone just wants to be in the worship area, or we're just too full, this can be a bedroom that seats 4 or 6. And I put a CR inside of it, although there's already 3 CRs in this floor. And you may not need to have your own CR, but you don't know. People maybe are during warfare or under stress, and so I don't care, make a CR there. So they may have their own CR because it's a guest room, but typically this room is configured to be more like a private little lounge area. So the worship hall, 5-meter floor, 110 square meter open worship space with a stage and with the sound equipment, sound booth, and everything else. Now this floor is attached, of course, to the 8th floor, and the 8th floor is a thing because there's a pool on this floor, and that sticks out below the floor level. So I'll show you how these 2 floors interact in a minute. So for right now, let's just take it in. Um, okay, let's look at this more carefully. I have a pool here which is 2 meters deep on the deep end, and the very shallow end it's a ½ meter. So I put some bright strips of tiles so a kid can see, or adults can see. This is where the steps change elevation here. But the deep end is pretty deep. It's 2 meters. And so it's over most everyone's head. But the shallow areas here are 2 point 0.5, it's 0.7 and 0.8 meters deep, so not too deep here. Enough to play around and have some fun. But what we see here are these deck chairs. These are very wide chairs, and we may be able to get more chairs on this level if we use smaller chairs. So the model I'm just using these big ones, which are made to be like a lounge area. But yeah, we've got 25 of them. This is 25, 27. 27? 22 on this side. And then we have 3 in the corner here, so about 25 altogether. So I'm trying to get 30 seats in this level. Now what you also notice is that there are steps up to this wooden deck. So the actual floor is down here. I won't open it up. The actual floor is down here on this level. And that's where the stairs come up and the elevator comes out. Now, Princess was very concerned about water leakage. We're on the roof. What if we have a very bad rainstorm? Won't we flood the stairs? And so I thought, okay, just to be sure. Now that someone said it, we don't want to ignore it. I've made very big drains, which is these round things, but also I made a step up from the low area to the elevator. So this elevator shaft is an extra, it's only 5 meters, but it's 5 meters plus a step. And I've also made a step that goes up into the staircase. The staircase goes up one extra step and down again. So the staircase is higher than the floor level. And that means that if there's any accidental water overflow, it will go down these drains, not down the stairs. There's also this roofing over this area, but it's still a little bit open. And the CRs are on that level because I don't care if a CR gets wet in the rain. Maybe that's actually a good place for things to get drained. But let's go back to the pool. And then this corner here is a nice corner of all the little functions. Now I put a barbecue grill for smoky barbecue fish and chicken and beef in the evening, and 2 refrigerators, and it's a full kitchen basically. But the idea of it is it's like Friday night and we're going to be up on the roof having outdoor barbecue. So a small dinner party. Like I said, we get seats for 30 people, and it may be just for a few friends on a Friday night. Maybe it's 9 p.m., 10 p.m. because we work pretty late. And I just want to have a place where I can have some barbecue chicken. So this is very smoky, so there's a hood. This is a small jacuzzi kiddie pool. It's a dual function pool. It's very shallow, only about 0.3 to 0.5 meters, maybe 0.4. Very shallow with some seats fixed into it, but it's made as a kiddie pool. But turn on the super jets and you get a jacuzzi. And so it's both jacuzzi and kiddie pool, so we save space, and it gives little kids a place to play. That's safe. Now there's a CR behind it, and that is in the kitchen. The CR has also a shower attached to it, but we also need to have open pool showers because most people, when they go to swim, they're covered in deodorant and makeup and stuff. So wash it off. Don't put your deodorant and makeup into our pool water. And then when they leave the pool, they're covered in chlorine. Wash off again, and get the chlorine off your hair. And so this is an open shower for the kids before they swim and after they swim. But for adults who kind of need to change also, there's a shower behind this that's inside a bathroom so they can change their clothing with a bit more privacy. Okay, now on this side, we have 2 CRs, which are more normal sized. We have a small guest room. This is a very small guest room actually. It is only about, I think it's 9 square meters. Checking my notes. I'm not sure. Maybe it's about 9 square meters. Maybe it's less. Maybe it's 6, 7, or 8. It's pretty small. And so there's no bathroom in this room. It's one of the only guest rooms. It is the only guest room in the whole house that has no bathroom inside of it. But there's 2 bathrooms next to it. And the pool deck doesn't get used 24 hours, so that's probably okay. I put a very large size double bed and enough space for just a cabinet, maybe a TV. So it's a small hotel room. Now what you notice here on this floor that there's open windows. Now I don't know what these are. Are these going to be glass? Or are they going to be louvers? Or are they going to be half and half? Are they sliding windows? We don't want to have a case where, let's say, very strong typhoon and we can't close the window. Or the window's open and the cat jumps up and falls down. So there has to be some kind of safety fence, a catcher around it on the outside, or they are a glass block. So light comes in, but you can't open. Especially here, those don't need to slide open. Those should be all glass block. But in the guy's bedroom, that should be maybe a grill and open. You can open that glass. So that's not been decided yet. Also, what is a question here, and this may not work, but there may be space in the roof over the staircase for a small little room. And that's difficult in this configuration to get to it because there's not much space for stairs. In this version, the stairs don't really fit because as soon as they go there, you can't. I mean, you'll hit your head on that staircase coming up the staircase. It's only about 1.5 meters tall, and so that does not work. So the stairs could go over here behind the CR, but then it's not in the bedroom, and so we haven't figured out if that is even doable yet. I'm sure it's doable, just to get to figure out the staircase. Now, a ladder would be fine. A more vertical staircase would be better, or there's other ways we can make it work if you want to make it work. But your floor area isn't very big, and it's not against the wall, and you've got pointy walls, which we'll see in a second. So one question that's not been answered yet is whether or not that would be a usable space. Okay, so that's the roof deck. Pool, barbecue. It's like a little restaurant. It's also on the roof, which means it's going to be very hot, and therefore we put on awnings and roofs. Now the sunrise is about this direction, which means that um, the um, the tables and chairs on this left-hand side. If I can move it one more time. Wait, not yet. Don't go there yet. Let's try and go back a little bit. These tables here get direct sunshine in the morning, so it's not really the right location for morning use. This is all in the shade, so that's not going to be a problem in daytime, in the morning, I mean. But here, these guys are going to get direct sunshine in the morning, so you don't maybe want to use that space until noontime. So if we've got people up there in the morning, they're going to have to be in the corner there unless it's an overcast day. Now, what I've got here, um, it's a bit of a funny shape. They were triangular, but then I modified it when I lowered this corner floor. And so this is not a very good design, but it'll be redone. But just to say that there's going to be some type of roof-looking peaks over the staircases in this corner. And these two corners are symmetrical. This tall one here is the elevator shaft. The elevator shaft has to have a machine room on top of it of a couple meters. And then I thought it would be nice to, put it like a peaked, gabled tower rooftop, and that leaves a big open space on top of this. The elevator is 2 meters, but 3 meters by 2 meters, and we originally had planned to put some like a light feature on top of this building, and so we can still do that. This could be like a big lighthouse. So this is good for nighttime, the evening shows. We have like a light show. It could be strobe lights. It could be a firework platform. It could be just searchlights. And so it could have a glass wall of any shape and size. It could have a mechanism in here with the lights are disco balls turning around like stage lights. So the actual elevator shaft would end at about this line, and above that is all just free usable space. It has to be big enough that we can put an electrically powered light system with fans, vents, and a control booth, somehow control mechanism there with access by a technician. So it's probably going to be about that shape and size. What we also see here is that, yeah, we can put little windows in this side over here, and that would give this little upstairs room a little view. It's kind of a cute little quiet, private little space here. And we've also put shades over the staircases, and this one here is over the kitchen. And so that means the kitchen area does not get direct rain, even though it's got drains in case this is a problem, but the kitchen area and the elevator area here don't get rain, shouldn't get rain. So what will happen in this upper area is that you have roofs that are, well, they're 3 meters from the ground, from the deck. And this deck here, sorry, they're 3 meters from the floor. This is a 1 meter deck. And so they are 2 meters from the wooden deck in this model. But they can be cut away here anything you want because that was supposed to be symmetrical from the outside, but inside we don't care. So here, like the green side, it begins at 2 meters and goes up to 3 meters from the wooden deck. And that gives you plenty of headroom. You don't feel cramped. And it can be also uh, extended more any way you want to. It's not a final version. But it gives you a very nice, cozy, shaded place on the roof so you won't feel like you're being baked. Because the roof gets pretty hot. We should have a nice breeze up here. So we want to have a way that we can open up the windows, let some breeze through. But we don't want typhoon breeze to go and blow people out that window either. So here we see, the cozy area here for that little room, possibly. Okay, so that's the basic layout for the roof pool deck. It's the 8th floor. It is the roof. The pool here is 2 meters deep. This one here that has the two-tone, that's the actual floor level. So this part here goes below floor level by a meter. And that's what I'm going to show you, which is the last thing I'm going to show you, I think. What happens and why, that's the wrong model. I need version 2, this is version 1. I need to have, I know it's here somewhere. I hope it's here somewhere. Okay, I'll show you on this level. This is not the model that I want. Sorry, just bear with me for one moment. Yeah, it's probably right in front of me, but I can't see it. It's the same name, but different. This is a very old model. Yeah, so it's not 7-8 combo, it's combo 7 and 8. Okay, so what we have here is a view of these two floors put together. And we can see how it fits. The pool extends below the floor by a meter, plus the thickness of the pool wall, the pool containment section. So if we put it on this side by the kitchen and the guest room, no one's going to even notice it's even there. They're going to believe it's just part of the ductwork or something like that. And also, if it leaks, right, well, it goes in the kitchen, which anyway has good drains, and we don't care about that. It shouldn't leak anyway. I'm just saying that, if there's a problem, it's in a place that is not really very sensitive to water. I made a false, what do they call it, ceiling, false ceiling here. It's very short. Normally we're using about 0.6 or 0.7 meters. This is about 0.5 or 0.4 meters. But, this building is very narrow. It's only 10 meters wide. And so we don't really need to have, very long ductwork for pumping air into the middle of the building because you're never more than 5 meters from a wall anyway. And so normally you have to have a lot of ductwork to get fresh air into the middle of a room if it's very far away from the wall. But we can use actually wall-mounted, what they call a split-type air conditioner, where there's a compressor on the outside and the controls on the inside, and just a small like a bar of the one louver, and that can be on these walls without having to put deep interior ductwork, and that means we don't need the very thick false ceilings. You do need a ceiling because there's plumbing above you. So yes, okay, there needs to be some place where we can put, the toilet down spouts, the water in spouts, and electricity ducts, and the lights, and hide them. But we don't need to have a whole meter. It can only needs to be, I'm usually putting, 2 feet, 0.6 meters, 0.7 meters. Anyway, so that's how this looks. Okay. Look again, the worship hall is 5-meter floor. The open space here is that space I'm leaving for the ceiling, and these roof areas don't go very high up into the top floor. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, looks okay. Yeah, those roof dimensions, it was symmetrical before, but I stretched them to make them cover the whole area, so they look terrible, but that's just not very important right now. And that will all be changed. Okay, so this is floor 7 and floor 8 together. But the last thing that we want to see, I think, is, put the whole thing together and just take a look at it for a minute. And let me see if I can get that model. It should be the stacked model. And that's the last thing I got to show you before we're done, actually. So I do hope I get your feedback. Was it there? I didn't see it. Um, I do hope I get your feedback. I don't know what changes I made. And this is the first fully complete park building we've modeled. Nothing else is this finished yet. Okay, so looking at the whole thing stacked up. Some of these are kind of older versions, as I can see, because that's been modified quite a bit. But this kind of shows you the main structure. This has the bodega on the bottom, the first floor. The library is there in the back. This shows the patio on that side. The patio here wasn't done yet. So the recreation floor, dining area, as you see, bedrooms, 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 worship area, and pool deck on the roof. Some of those slices are a little bit old, but we haven't designed the outside of it yet. So all I have right now is just a white um, just a white skin. Yeah, that's what I want to show you. Okay, so that's basically all the guts of this structure. Staircases on both sides of it are pretty strong. Pillars will be every 4 meters, and so I envision the pillars 3 or 4 on the outside edges and the middle wide areas, 4 or 5. No pillars maybe in the middle, but we've got walls in the middle that could be used for structural support. The architect has to tell us what we need to hold it up. The water on the roof isn't that heavy. You think it would be very heavy, but it's not actually that heavy. I think it's around 80 cubic meters. But the concrete is much heavier than the water. But people think, oh my gosh, it's so heavy, so big. It's not that big, not that heavy, and it's not really a problem for the design of the structure. And yeah, I hope to get your feedback. There's a lot of detail. Don't forget, there's also the car park, the entranceway, and that isn't the full model. So the better model, I think, is now this one. Hope you don't see all the guts in it. So it's the residents in the park. Yeah. Okay. So hope you enjoy that, and I look forward to seeing the next model being a bit more complete. And thank you for your time.